I'm Lyrical Faith. I am an educator, activist, and spoken word poet. I am from the Bronx, New York, and I am okay. So, all that I do, I'm founder of a nonprofit called Poetry for Service. So it's a poetry and public service organization that aims provide poetry workshops and events for individuals in low income or marginalized communities, including our populations that have been affected by the justice system. And what else? I'm the founder of another poetry network called Black Poets. So basically just individuals who are members of the Black Greek community, of the historically Black Greek organizations who are also poets. I myself remember a poetry organization called the Harlem Bomb Shelter, which is a Harlem-based open mic and showcase located in Harlem, New York. We started it because we wanted to create a venue in the uptown New York area for poets to come and rock out. And so far, we've been going for the past 8 years. So we are the longest consistent running open mic in Harlem. And so there's that. And then I think I want to say that's that, yeah. That's kind of that. Oh, Harlem Bomb Shelter just joined. Hey.
All right. Speaking of, hello. All right. That's really great. That is amazing. So my next question is, how have you as an artist or your work, what you do, how have you been affected by these times, COVID-19, as well as the Black Lives Matter movement?
So yeah, definitely a great question. These times have been very heavy. I've been describing it as a roller coaster. I've been describing it as just a time that has created emotional wear and tear on our souls and spirits. I want to say that, like, as an artist, when the pandemic first happened, first of all, the pandemic happened at a really interesting time. It was right after I came back. I literally just came back from Texas, where I was competing in the Women of the World Poetry Slam, and so that was great. It was like really great, high energy, high emotions. Like I got to meet and be around so many different amazing poets, femme poets, and be in these large spaces where we're like hugging and just like really excited. We're like all around each other, and then like of course we're getting like the news notifications like like toilet paper is running out in New York City and all stuff, and I'm like, okay, and then
Whatever.
whatever. And then the day I get back from Texas, my mom calls me like, so you need to take this very seriously because this is going to be a big deal. You need to go to the supermarket and you need to stock up and like all this stuff. And then over the weekend, like the school shut down. My job was like, yeah, so we're actually going to work from home. And I live on a very active block where you can hear everything outside my window. Apologize about that. But yeah, so it happened at a very interesting time where I just went from like this really, really all-time like high of like what I felt like was a great moment in my artist life to like this very like lull of just I don't know what to think. I don't know what to feel. Every event that I had coming up that I was looking forward to was canceled. I couldn't write. I felt like I block, and so from there it's just been like this up and down roller coaster. Of course, in the last several weeks when the protests have started, that has just been like I want to describe it as a blessing. I want to describe it as a blessing in disguise, just because COVID and like the atmosphere of everything slowing down has created the perfect storm of highlighting what is happening in the Black Lives Matter movement,
Yeah.
and the rights that Black bodies in this country have been denied for so long, and the treatment that we've been receiving for so long. And so like I do feel like that it has been a very interesting space to be in, because had everything been going on, had the games been happening, had the
Right.
concerts been happening, etc., etc., you know, we would have a news cycle filled with a lot of different things to kind of cloud out what's going
Yeah.
on. And then people, you know, some people wouldn't have been at protests, some people would have been at brunch. So
Or work.
people would have been
Every
at work.
day.
A lot of people would have been at work. A lot of people would have been at brunch, or just like something in between. But it allowed us to like come to a hard stop and just focus. Like, no, this is happening, and we all need to face this. And so that's where I've been at. It's been an up and down experience.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, the effects of the pandemic brought us face to face with all of these issues that are an issue every day, but now everyone's talking about it and you can't avoid it. So I definitely agree with you on that. So what are some ways that you've been active? I know I've seen your photos, you've been in these streets. So tell us about that. What are some things you've been doing? Any like particular organizations you want to mention?
Oh, ooh, okay, yes. I have been able to attend a couple of protests. Um, I have been able to learn from those experiences, and kind of just like witness a few things that I felt were very very important. There's been a lot of rhetoric about a lot of the dynamics of what these times entail. The fact that like all 50 states are protesting about the same thing. The fact that like this is probably the first time in history, not even probably, this is the first time in history that of this country that has happened. There and the fact that like us as the new generation, the younger generation, are the ones who are like, you know, we have the responsibility to kind of carry this forward. And so so I've been feeling a lot of that. I've also been feeling and seeing you know, firsthand kind of like just the overshadowing of like Black women and transgender individuals who've also been getting killed by police, who've been ignored or not, or just been overshadowed, like in the
Yeah.
process of like rallying for George Floyd. Like, okay, you know, I'm so glad that we were able to unify, and this viral video was able to kind of get us to really like come to a very blatant, you know, upstanding, like, you know, like presentation of this cause. But we also have to remember that this is not just a one-off. This is a buildup. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. This was the cherry on the sundae, right? Like, this was, you know, a foundational, like institutional, generational thing that has surmounted to this moment. And so we cannot remember, I mean, we cannot forget all of the other individuals who are playing into like, you know, what has happened with police brutality throughout this country. George Floyd's murderer has been charged with second-degree murder. Breonna Taylor's free.
Right.
And so like all of those things have been you know, things that I've been thinking about, trying to like raise awareness about, trying to like teach in discourse taking place at my job, in my workspace, trying to, you know, write about. And so like I want to continue to like community can be in similar, be in an understanding of the same headspace of like where we're at and what this means for us to move forward in this movement.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I totally understand. That was a perfect answer. So my next question, what would you say is your favorite like jam, your favorite black anthem, something that uplifts you and makes you feel very Black and very proud, just that one go-to song for you?
Woo. Oh my goodness. Yo, there's so many. I gotta choose one.
Yeah, just I mean, maybe you could give me like two.
Okay. All right, by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like this is the popular answer. I feel like that's the popular answer though. Yeah, definitely All Right by Kendrick Lamar, and then probably Changes by Tupac.
Oh, okay. No one has said that yet. That's a good
Okay,
one.
okay, good, good,
Nice.
good.
Okay, cool, cool. Okay. So, right now, you could just tell us anything you want to tell us, anything that's on your heart, on your mind. You can let us know what are some ways we can all be vocal in this movement, and then tell us where we can follow you.
Whew, okay, on my heart and on my mind. So I just want to charge folks to not get burnt out
Mm.
by this work, right? Like I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, kind of just explaining to that, like they were kind of just explaining to me that, you know, there's like individuals at their job, they work at it in a predominantly white workspace, individuals at their job who are like, but like exhibit like extreme anti-blackness, and like that is like the last thing that this person was trying to deal with at this time, as this person was somebody who was trying to bring a voice to the movement and what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And so I had to explain to them, like, this is hard work, right? This is like like in awareness or like enlightenment, or like kind of helping folks to like understand like identity and like the dynamics and the power and the privilege and the oppression that play into like what is happening right now. Is not going to come overnight, right? Some people are just coming to this like this penultimate awareness that like Black people have been oppressed in this country, and
Yeah.
they're like, what can I do to help? And and all of that, right? But I think the big thing that's going on around right now is kind of like this not being a movement, this not being a moment, but a movement. And so,
Yeah.
like after the protesting, after and hopefully, like it continues to go on for quite some time. But after it stops, right? Because something's gonna happen, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh, let's divert attention to somewhere else. After that stops, right? What other things are we kind of like doing to kind of help push forward the policy, to push forward like the enlightenment that we're like raising about what is happening, push forward like how are we going to remember this in our history books. And so like I've been thinking about all those things and trying to like grapple, like, okay, like what work am I doing and what role am I playing, and also like economically, like where are we putting our economics, where are we putting our buying, our spending power and our buying power, so that it does not go towards like companies and entities, et cetera, that are perpetuating these systems that are just continuing to keep
Yeah.
us oppressed. So it's like, think about like what you can do and where you fit into the ecosystem of pushing forward the message and the movement,
Yeah.
so that it's not just a moment, so that this is a lasting impact that our children can benefit from, knowing that their parents, etc., did the work, and be inspired by that, because they will still have work to do, and etc., and like, and their children's children. So yeah, this is like, I always try to think about social justice in this country as kind of just like, it's this thing that took 400 years to build, and perpetuate, and it is this thing that cannot be undone in the past like 65 years that we've been free. So it's just like, because we are like like 65 years, etc., like post like having like equal rights in this country, right? Like that is not, 65 years of advancements or progressiveness cannot undo 400 years of oppression. So it's like, it's going to take a long time. So like, try not to get burnt out in the process of this work, because if you try to do everything and get burnt out too quickly, then you won't have enough power and energy to continue, so that you can pass this on to someone else. And so so I try to think about that and try to like find spaces and places that things that give me joy, so I can hold on to things, and try to use that to create like my lasting like day by day impact that I'm making on myself, so that I can stay charged up, so that I can continue to do what I'm doing and write about what I'm writing about and speak about what I'm speaking about. And us as artists, like we have this special platform where we can like, have these creations that live longer than us, right? Like your
Yeah.
photography, your videography is going to outlive you. Your poetry, our poetry go forth and like outlive us, so that the folks coming after us can be inspired to understand and do the same.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Beautifully put. Thank you so much. So please remind us of who you are and where we can follow you, all of your Instagrams, your website, all of that.
Absolutely. So Lyrical Faith, you can find me, you can follow me. Lyrical Faith Poetry, spoken word poet, educator, activist, from New York City, currently based here. And please follow me, please connect. I love to connect with folks, and you know, like invite folks into like intelligible discourse about like what's happening and like things that are just happening in general. And that's I think that's it. Oh, please follow my other pages that are in my bio. So like Harlem Bomb Shelter, we are having a event called Shelter in the Streets this Saturday. So pretty much what happens is that like we are like, if you are a part of like, or even if you're not a part of like a poetry group or a poetry squad or whatever, if you want a couple of poets in your home city, and if your home city happens to be New York, come find us in your home city, and you all want to like, you know, have like this platform where you are you know, performing and speaking out against what's going on, please please contact us. We want you to kind of like just take over a block at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and record and video and hashtag yourselves doing like a bunch of different poems, doing like art in the streets, so that folks can be reminded that like Black art matters, and that and particularly if you have anything like social justice based, because we want it. Shelter in the Streets is kind of like reactionary to the times that we're in, and so like we do it because we want to like we want to create this disruption of what's going on outside, so that we can create this like space of art, that's like, hey, like we will still use our voices, we will still take over, we will still have something to say despite what is going on and in reaction to what's going on. And so like we're gonna be out on 125th Street in Harlem in front of the Apollo Theater this Saturday at 1 p.m. And we have some other folks in like Baltimore and Cali and like the Bahamas and like some other places who are doing the same around the same time. And we're all going to be performing and hashtagging hashtag Shelter in the Streets or hashtag SITS 2020. So yeah, just message me and all that.